it's been a long time to say, Hawks win! Hawks win! Holy cow! For the first time in the 2021-2022, your Chicago Blackhawks finally get a victory! Holy cow! What a strange way to finally get a victory. I've missed it. This game brought some history with it, with your Chicago Blackhawks, by one player making the history 2 times tonight. And this game was just flat out great. This was the type of game the Hawks needed. A win. They needed to play hard and beat the Ottawa Senators, which they did. They beat the Senators 5-1 in tonight's action. For the first time this season, the Chicago Blackhawks have scored at least 4 goals in a game. That is something we haven't seen all year. And for the first time this season, your Chicago Blackhawks won. Holy cow. How much relaxing ability is it to now know the Hawks actually have a victory tonight? I would have to say it came out today because it's been a long time for the Chicago Blackhawks to get a win. And now we have it. We got a victory, beating the Ottawa Senators, who frankly came out playing hard in this first period. They were outplaying the Hawks. But it took till the final minute when the Hawks finally battled and got on the board. Where the Hawks were outplayed in the first period, they found a way to get on the board in the first period, not letting the Senators get on. Marc-Andre Fleury tonight played outstanding. He had one rough goal against, but he still played outstanding. Following up that game against the St. Louis Blues, where he was just out of his mind great, he comes home to Chicago and play outstanding. And now the Hawks get their first victory on the season. This was a must win by your Chicago Blackhawks, and they get it. They did it. They finally come out to show. Patrick Kane tonight, coming off COVID protocol, played outstanding. He was out for the last 4 games, out for 10 days in total off the ice. But he came back to the ice tonight in Chicago to help your Chicago Blackhawks get a victory. This was a must-win. They did it. They performed, and, well, we get the 2 points. It's just frankly great to see the Hawks finally get a victory. So let's look at the stats of the game, shall we? In the first period, as I said, Ottawa outplayed the Hawks. It was 13-8 in favor for the Senators on shots on net. Most of the shots on net for the Hawks came in the final 2.5 minutes of play. The Hawks were getting outplayed for the first, I would say, 18 minutes of play by the Senators. And then we go to the second period, where the Hawks continue to pressure the Senators after getting there on the board in that first period. It's 6-15 in favor for the Chicago Blackhawks. Then in the third period, Ottawa started to find their game. They got back a couple opportunities. They got on the board, but they couldn't get more past Fleury. It was 11-8 in favor for the Senators. Total shots on net for each team, 30-31 in favor for your Chicago Blackhawks. So the Hawks get it. They did it. They won it. And face-off percentage was another key stat for tonight's action. 37% to the Hawks, 63% at the dot. That's insane. The Hawks were great at the dot tonight, and they won at the draws. They were getting those pucks and having their opportunities. That's good to see. Power plays. 0 for 4 for the Senators, 1 for 2 for your Chicago Blackhawks. Hits 37 to 34 in favor for the Senators. This game actually was very high-hitting type of caliber game. It was back and forth hits, but a lot of chances going each side. The Hawks managed to prevail. This was that type of game your Chicago Blackhawks needed. I get it, the Senators aren't the greatest team, but they're still a good, pesky team. And the Hawks managed to show what they wanted to do in the offseason tonight by acquiring some key players to help this roster. Fleury's looking like he's confident now. The Hawks look like they might be doing something to help themselves get out of this hole they dug in October. It's now November, and they actually have a victory now. That's awesome to see, and we get to see what goes. So let's go to the goals of the game, shall we? Because there's quite a bit of goals. As I said, in the first period, it was all Senators. The Senators were moving the puck. They had an opportunity on the power play, did not do anything. The Hawks were blocking it well, shutting down that power play. Hawks and Senators were moving the puck back and forth. The Senators were keeping it more pressured into the Hawks' defensive zone, and the Hawks could not get out of it. But until the final 2.5 minutes, the Hawks get an opportunity in the offensive zone, moving the puck well. And at 19:10 in the first period, scored by number 38, Brandon the Bagel Hagel gets his second of the season, first of the night, assisted by number 88, Patrick Kane. And number 19, Jonathan Toews. Kane was out on that ice for a couple of line changes, quite honestly. He stayed out there. Hawks kept pressure in the offensive zone. Kane moved the puck well. Toews gets the puck, goes over to Kane. Kane gets it to Hagel, and Hagel in the slot buries it past Matt Murray of the Ottawa Senators with 49.7 seconds remaining in the first period, and the Hawks are on the board. That's good to see. They were outplayed in that first period, but they battled in the final few minutes, and they got on the board. So the Hawks are up 1-0 after 1. And we go to the second period, and the Hawks get an early power play. And at 2:09 in the second period, to tie Steve Larmer, third all-time in Blackhawks history for goals, scored by number 88, Patrick Kane. His second of the season, first of the night, assisted by number 22, Ryan Carpenter. And number 19, Jonathan Toews. To get the Hawks on the board on this power play, Kaner ties Steve Larmer, third all-time for goals in franchise history. And history is not over yet, because Kaner does some more. This goal by Kane was a beautiful backhander past Murray, and the Hawks get it. They're on the board, and they were pressuring more in this second period, but Murray managed to shut down the doors in the second period. Same with Fleury, he made a couple of big saves. So we go to the third period, where the goals just came out of left field in the start of this third period. So we go to the third period, Hawks up 2-0. And 27 seconds into the third period, scored by number 38, Brandon, the Bagel, Hagel, with his third of the season, second of the night, assisted by number 19, Jonathan Taze, and number 4, Steph Jones. Hagel gets his second of the night, and the Hawks keep the pressure on. Early in this third period, Hagel gets another goal, and hat-trick watches on. It's a good goal by Hagel, and we are now up by 3. So the Hawks come back out for the next line change after at 1:22 in the third period. Scored by number 88, Patrick Kane. His third of the season, second of the night, surpassing Steve Larmer for third all-time in franchise history in goals. Patrick Kane is on the board with his second of the night, and it was assisted by Eric Gustafson and Dominic Kubalik. This goal for Kaner is a beautiful one because Gustafson sauces it across the ice. It looked like it may have went off a stick to get down on Kane's stick, and Kane buries it past Murray, and the Hawks are up by 4, and this is the first time that your Chicago Blackhawks have 4 goals in a game, and they did it. Kaner, coming out of COVID protocol, tying Steve Larmer, surpassing Steve Larmer, and he's not done yet. But 20 seconds later, Formenton of the Ottawa Senators gets the Sens on the board for his second of the season, assisted by Victor Mete and Ennis, to make it a 4-1 Hawks lead. So the Senators get a goal. This goal, probably a rough one on Fleury, but Fleury played great tonight. He flashed the leather a couple of times, made a couple of scuffling saves, and, well, this goal, it goes in past Fleury. But goal scoring's not done yet in this third period. As I mentioned, Kane sets some more history tonight, and he does at 7:17 in the third period for the hat trick, scored by number 88, Patrick Kane, to solidify himself third all-time in franchise history for points, passing Dennis Savard to get the Hawks a 5-1 lead in this third period. This was assisted by Dominic Kubalik, and Kaner goes on a breakaway and goes 5-hole on Murray, and the Hawks lead 5-1 and win it 5-1, where Kane tonight sets history for your Chicago Blackhawks by passing Steve Larmer in all-time for third all-time goals and passing Dennis Savard for third all-time points in franchise history. Tonight was a history night, and Kaner, coming off a COVID protocol, missing 10 days of practice and 4 games, Kaner was back, and he put on a show in the United Center, and the Hawks win it 5-1. Was kind of hoping to see a Bagel hat trick, quite honestly, too, because Hagel looked like he could have got one a couple of times. Couldn't, though. But the Hawks managed to prevail and finally get that elusive first victory of this season. Marc-Andre Fleury, again, stood on his head when needed. The Hawks defense looked good again. And the Hawks won it. They did, outscoring the Senators by 4 goals. And we finally get a victory. It's a relief off everyone's backs. That monkey is off the Blackhawks' backs. And now it's time to get rolling. So, down in the comments down below, I want to hear what your thoughts were from tonight's action between your Chicago Blackhawks and Ottawa Senators. I think because history was made by Patrick Kane, it's a good night for your Chicago Blackhawks. First victory, it feels so great. So, thank you for watching the broadcast. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And most of all, Hawks win! Hawks win! And let's go Hawks!